Hello, everybody. Joe here. It is good to be back on the show here. Crypto Rosetta, thank you for joining us here. Now, been away for a couple of weeks off the channel. That is not actually been on holiday or ill or anything like that. Just been very, very busy with primary business at Lux Vegas, getting a whole host of new clients, taking in a whole, ton of investment. It's been absolutely fantastic. Very busy time, very exciting. Those who know what I'm talking about will appreciate that. But it's good to be able to be back here and be able to get back into the charts. Have managed to stay in touch with the community in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord community for free, links in the description below. Also, if you're new here and enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, select all notifications, go back and watch previous videos. Thank you for joining us. Now let's dive on into the charts because big news. It's been crazy couple of weeks recently. Got to start off with the Dow Jones. Big headline of the day here has hit a new all-time high. We're above 37,000 on the Dow Jones. I hold my hand up and say I did not see this one come in. Thought we'd have decent rally that we got in November, but it has surprised me that it's continued into the middle of December now. Very strong weeks. We've hit a new all-time high. Even gone through potential double top. Although you could say we're kind of at about that level considering the previous all-time high back in November 21 was literally just under 37,000. So it's going to be, key to see, are we going to pull back or is this just going to keep going? Because Q4 has been very, very strong in the stock market. Obviously, there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of optimism. We've had FOMC today. Rates aren't being raised. There's also sentiment that rates will be put potentially 3 times later on in 2024. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, of course. No guarantees in these markets. We will have to see how things develop economically next year. Now, Q4 has turned out to be stronger than I expected, but I've always said it's going to be Q1 2024 in all markets, especially in crypto. That is going to be key, in my opinion, how it plays out. Now, talking about crypto, let's move on because I'll start with the old chart on Bitcoin, the Wyckoff distribution that I was looking at. Obviously, we are in that distribution invalidation range now, which is great, have to say, because we are potentially, increasing the probability of heading to new all-time highs in the market. We are increasing the probability of being in a bull market. We are increasing the probability of the low being in November 2022 in this market. Again, doesn't mean that's definitely going to happen. No guarantees, but things are looking a bit more bullish than initially expected because I did think we would, get the chop before the drop. It'd start to chop a bit, but going back about 3 weeks ago, it was kind of this key candle, this weekly candle starting on the 27th of November, when things really changed because we got through that 38k, which was key resistance, got up to 40k. It was clear that it wasn't gonna stop there because 40k not really a key level on Bitcoin. Yeah, you could argue maybe every 10,000 or so is a psychological level, but I wasn't surprised to see it blast through there. Where we've parked the brakes up now, 44.5, and then another higher target of 48.5 are the key levels. We'll take a look at that higher target on the next chart in the bullish scenario for Bitcoin. Now, not showing it right now on this chart, there is still, of course, the dreaded possibility of lower lows in the market if this turns out to just be a multi-year ABC and we are sort of looking to top out on that B wave. Again, I've never been a fan of that scenario. I've never really thought that is what is going to play out, but I am aware of the possibility of it happening. And for that to look like it had kind of any chance of happening, we'd probably have to see that significant rejection in Q1 24. And we'd probably be looking to be way back in this range between sort of 30k and 25k, at least by the end of that, if not sooner. So, things would have to develop pretty fast if we were heading down on a sort of impulse C wave to, finish off this multi-year correction, probably taking Bitcoin to around about 10k. It could possibly go to 12k, but in all reality, in that very, very bearish scenario, it would go under 10k. But the key point as well being on that is what would the catalyst for that be? I have no idea. I can't tell you. I don't really have an opinion on it other than, I've always kind of felt that it was going to be, potential regulations coming from the SEC, coming from US government that was going to crash the market. Obviously, we've had, some recent news about that. It's never really gone away, but the market is not cleared and it's, just continued to, plow through. But I don't think it's retail, still inflicting this move. I still think if retail are coming in, they're probably coming in at the tops before there's going to be a correction again. Wales have obviously kept this going. There's going to be liquidity to take. I think all the shorts have pretty much been blown away. And there's a lot of liquidity to grab at 40k and even more. Down. I think it's about if Bitcoin gets down to about 34k. I think the last time I looked, we're looking at about $5 billion of long still. You're not closed, not taking profits. So people are obviously hodling those future trades. So looking obviously for Bitcoin to get through 50k. But I would be surprised if we get there, if I'm honest. But then again, we've gone higher than I initially expected, so who knows? But would be surprised if that happens before the end of this year. Again, not impossible. Where we are now, again, December's been strong, but run into Christmas, you would think things would probably, calm down a bit going into New Year, and then we're going to see, key week in January. Now, bullish scenario targets for Bitcoin. Are we in, this new bull market? Well, we are. You could make the argument we are in the ascending channel. We are still in that channel. Maybe we've, potentially bounced off a kind of trend line here, looking for a bit of a pullback. We got through the point 0.5 fib, which was around about 42.1, 43.1 at time of recording. Current high set a few days ago. We obviously got to around about that 44 500 level. Now, if that does be act rather as a local top, probably looking to come back down to this sort of 36k range. In my opinion, maybe bounce back off this 0.618 fib, and then off we go. Again, if we go even higher now, I think the next major resistance is going to be the 0.382 fib, coming in around about 48.4. It also links in perfectly with this high going back to March 2022. I think that's going to be a big psychological level. That's kind of the main reason why I'm not expecting us to blast through to 50k. If we did blast through to 50k, that's going to be really, 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 really bullish, you have to say, because we would be breaking this trend line. This potential channel to the upside. If we get above and hold above this channel, bull market, baby, let's go. It's going to be really, really bullish. I think there's going to be some crazy money coming back into the market, which will be, great news. Now, levels to hold if this channel does break and to the downside around about this 27k, it is going to be really important to hold that 0.786 fib. If that goes, guys, then we are looking at, a significantly, bearish scenario. We could be looking at a revisit to the lows, heading back down towards 50k, sorry, 15k, in my opinion, if we sort of lose that 27 to 25k range. But we don't need to talk about that yet. We're not there. Eyes on whether we're kind of going to make it up to 48.4 now, or pull back. If we did get up to that 48k area, I do think that would provide a high value, very good risk reward short trade, in my opinion, because it would be very surprising if we were to blast through there. Maybe you could have a stop loss above 49k. Again, not financial advice, just an opinion, but I would expect that to be major resistance. But equally, I would not be surprised, if we have top for now and we're gonna go back below 40k just to grab some of the liquidity, because I don't think there's huge liquidity to grab now on shorts. Most of it's been blown away, clearly, and a lot of that money's flipped along, caused a short squeeze, but now it's time to grab those longs. That's how these markets work, guys. Now, moving on, I want to talk about Bitcoin dominance again. Not really a lot has changed here. Expectation, dominance up, price down. That hasn't played out yet. Obviously, the dominance has gone up. The price has not gone down, though. As we know, price has continued to the upside. But I do think that this is still a bullish chart. I do think that Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to the upside. We could see, a pullback here to sort of 52%, and then off we go again. If we lose this 48, percent, I think it's, going to be alt season. once again, I think things are going to, start going wild, and you're going to start to see altcoins really, really pop. Not just the ones that, have already kind of taken off. I'm talking wider, broader aspect of the market, in my opinion. But I am still expecting, Bitcoin to eventually, pull back in price, whether it gets to 48.5 or not. I do think it is going to pull back, at some stage and get back into those 30Ks. But I do think that this chart, when that happens, is going to continue up, and I do think, some exit liquidity is going to be created on some altcoins. I still think with Bitcoin, loses those mid 30Ks, I do think that some altcoins will go to new lows. Not all of them, not probably, the likes of, AVAX or Solana yet. They're looking obviously, stronger. There's many others I could name, but some that really haven't, performed off the lows. I'm talking like the ones that have literally done 100% or less. Not really anything crazy off their bear market lows. Those coins could be in trouble if Bitcoin loses those mid 30Ks, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion on anything, of course, leave us a comment below. I would love to hear it. Get your thoughts and opinions. Now, want to talk about total free. Obviously, this is the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So talking about those altcoins because of where we are now. 2 points I want to make. Also, nothing has changed in terms of hold above that 457 billion, in my opinion, gives us that higher bull market probability. That is exactly where we are now. We reached milestone last week. We are literally holding above there now. We did drop early in the week, but we, bounced back up, which is great, but we still need, significant consolidation. I want to see quite a few weeks here, to confirm this. I still think that this is going to be an area of resistance that we could, start to see a pullback on Q1 of 24 if this run doesn't continue. What I do want to make the point of is, though, that the last time, I did a video on this, I did say that, headline was buy. I did say that altcoins were breaking out. Well done to, anyone who got in on certain altcoins. I appreciate not every one of them run, but the vast majority did. And if you got some of those ones that did multiple X's, congratulations. But I hope you are, taking profits. But, we made that call kind of when I believe it was on this candle here back at the end of October, mentioned the breakout out of the triangle to the upside. I think time it was around about 375 billion on the total free. Obviously we've gone up, above 80 odd billion since then, so well done to anyone who got in on, some of those longs or bought some spot and now they're taking profits. Congratulations. I did want to get in on that myself, but obviously I had to, direct all my capital into investments I've got, making money, safer money in Luxfairs right now. So, I didn't have, spare capital to risk on some of these altcoins. I would have loved to have had it to dive into these. But yeah, sometimes you just got to, it depends where you are in current situations and, what is working for you in terms of your investments and making money. Now, moving on to ETH, first of all, bearish, situation. This is, if this is topped out, this is kind of what I'm kind of looking at. I did mention kind of, 2400 plus consolidation was going to be the invalidation, obviously 2400 being, a key level. And we did get there. We hit that 2400 again. I think that that was, good area to, potentially short. Obviously, you could have got a quick scalp short. Obviously, we've bounced, back a bit now. Wouldn't surprise me if it went up there for a retest and then eventually, rejected again around about 24 or maybe a little bit higher. Got the sort of YXZ marked on here. It's a possible wave count in my opinion, but it's gonna need time to see if that's possibly what's played out here if ETH does start to roll. But obviously that $2,400 be in that key area, we can write this one off if we can consolidate above there. But what I'll say is, for me at this price level, I'm not really excited about buying ETH. I'm not really excited about shorting ETH either, to be honest. Again, yeah, maybe could have shorted in around about 2400 with decent risk reward, but I think there's better risk rewards elsewhere, in my opinion. Now, reason why I'm not getting excited about buying ETH, looking at the bullish scenario, in my opinion. Again, that 2400 area being key. Obviously, the 618 fib, expecting a pullback from there. If we can get through, we've got various levels of resistance here. This kind of 0.382 is going to be significant, but I would think the bullish target, if this is in a higher time frame, um, potential channel that we're in. Bulls are going to be kind of targeting this $3,900, $4,000 range before, of course, head into new all-time highs. You'll have Moon Boys telling you that ETH's going to be $5,000 in a couple of months. Possible, but do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. The key level to hold, though, to remain bullish is we really cannot, lose around that 1740, 1750. If break out of this potential channel to downside, more importantly, just this bottom trend line. If this bottom trend line falls, I think all hell could kind of potentially break loose in this happen rather in this market. And I think altcoins are going to be in trouble if that trend line is lost. I'm not saying whether I'm expecting it to happen yet, but I do think just from a psychological level, from a liquidations level, etc., I would not be surprised if we went back down there for another test, whether this local high is currently in, or if we can go higher for now. But that is going to be really important to hold for ETH and altcoins. Now, NASDAQ, again, it looked like this was going to set a new high before the Dow Jones. Looked like the NASDAQ was going to, win the race. Actually, the Dow Jones has now won the race as, things have slowed down a little bit on the NASDAQ just because of certain stocks have kind of, not done a great deal the last couple of days. But just got it here. Will the double top fear strike? Of course, again, similar to the Dow Jones situation, hasn't played out how I expected. I did think that we were just gonna, set a lower high. I thought that lower high was gonna hold in the summer. Of course, I was wrong on that. You have to reassess, how you're looking at the charts and reassess your opinions, and that's exactly what I am doing now. So the big question is there going to be a bit of a sell-off? Is there going to be a bit of a fear, of a double top scenario here? I do think it is one possibility, which is got a decent chance. But again, we should have an answer within the next few weeks. But it's just not a buy here for me. Reason being is because if we break through this potential double top scenario, let's say we get up to around about 17,500 here on the Nasdaq, I do think that the upside is going to be limited from a risk reward situation. In my opinion, you'll get bulls saying, once this new all time high set, we're going to 25,000 or 30,000 on the Nasdaq. It's possible, but again, just looking at where we've come from here, guys, you have to ask yourself, this can't just keep going up forever. This is the point. It's in the back of my mind. Again, maybe some people think I'm just being negative and thinking, when's this guy ever going to get in or accept it? And, this is just going to continue into a multi-decade, super decades of bull market. And possible, but I do think that even if you get up here, I think there'll be such a strong correction that I would be surprised if we don't ever. It's possible that we never see the 2020 lows, the COVID lows again. We may never see those again, but do I think that we may never see last year's lows again? I'm not so sure. We may have to go higher before we see those prices. So if you're not interested in short in the market, long in the market, you're just looking to buy low, hold for quite a few years, and then take profits later on. I just don't think that from a risk reward perspective, this is a good time to get in my opinion. Yeah, that idea, then it was to get in earlier on this year and not now. But again, if you think that this can continue massively to the upside and you think it's still a great time to dollar cost average and continue to buy after such a strong run, leave us a comment below. But personally, I don't. Now, gold mentioned the potential triple top rejection. That, of course, got invalidated. We've gone higher. I've now put question mark, fourth top bull trap. Is this a bull trap? Um, you don't often see quadruple tops. You could argue that it's even higher than the other three, but there was a strong rejection. Gold got absolutely wild, acting like a flipping altcoin. Crazy things happening in the markets. Quite exciting. It's exciting to watch. Now, key level, just going to keep this simple. For this bearish scenario to remain alive, and it is still alive, of course, we've got the invalidation consolidation above 2100 before sub 1800, in my opinion. I'm still sticking with that. Yes, we got, above 2100 new high, but huge rejection. Actually dropped us below 2000. Like, it's just wild, $200 swing on gold. You're literally talking like hundreds of billions, trillion, over $1 trillion just in that. It's wild. Um, so mad things happen in the markets. Key level remains 18, around about that 1800. As long as that holds, it's still the bullish scenario. If that breaks, bearish scenario is looking very good to me. Again, we've just got three wave moves. It's possible this is a short C wave of three waves here that's topped. But again, bullish case for me is that we need to kind of keep going here. We could again come down to sort of this trend line, set a higher low on gold. Obviously, we've got one in at the moment, and again that comes back to that key level of just over $1,800 that we need to hold. Possible it could just be a free wave move heading us up to $2,400, which would be strong. Which would probably take all of next year to play out. But then again, the way it acted in the last few days, maybe not. Maybe things will get extremely volatile and move a lot faster. Certainly, though, if a more impulsive move, which kind of took gold up to $3,000, which is the absolute maximum, I could honestly see it going from a psychological level. If gold was to get really bullish, $3,000 for me, I don't think we'd start to see $4, 5, $6,000 gold in this decade, in my opinion. And once that 3,000's kind of hit, I think there'd be a strong pullback. But I don't see that happening at the minute. I still, it's the way that it sold off the other day. It's the way that it kind of feels like it could have been a trap to me. I'm kind of, not sure. And look, I want gold to go up. Gold price going up is really good news for me. So that's actually the win scenario, not gold going down. People think, oh, he's bearish and everything. He wants everything to go down. No, no, I want gold to go up. That is very good news for me and my business. But I'm remaining cautious. I still kind of feel that until we see more consolidation here and kind of continue to the upside, um, then there is a risk of losing that key level. And if that key level around about 1810 is lost, then we could be going down. Now DXY, not a lot to say about the DXY. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I thought that this one would get boring, and that is exactly what is happening. Not a lot of excitement to say. It remains that they're all saying the Moon Boys, the dollar is dead. In the summer, now we've gone to new highs in Bitcoin. We've gone to new highs in the indexes. But importantly, the DXY has not gone lower. Not many people would have predicted that. Now, why is the DXY remaining, high and still looking like it's got some strength? In my opinion, not really, testing these summer lows. Well, the reason being is because other markets. Again, going back to earlier on in this video, I was saying how strong the US economy is appearing, or is it false? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. The indexes are right up there. But other economies, the Chinese markets, we may have to look at those, on another video. They are getting absolutely smashed. Europe's not looking great. Although, setting some highs in some areas, looking extremely overbought and screaming huge correction coming. Whereas the US markets may even be able to continue to the upside in Q1 24 potentially. I'm not convinced that the European markets can. So this is why there's still some strength in the dollar. You've also got other news like Argentina, potentially moving over to the US dollar, etc. Whether that happens or not, but clearly there's a lot of fear. Lots of problems in Japan as well. USD JPY, dollar was looking very strong against the yen. Has pulled back a bit the last couple of weeks, but still remains very strong. So Dollar remaining strong against other currencies, but I do think, where these markets are going, if these double tops potentially play out, or, if there's, a pullback from, setting new all-time highs and people start to think it's time to take profits, we should see a bounce for the DXY. However, if this strong run continues, then I do think, this can continue to retrace back to bouncing off this trend line that it broke out of in the descending wedge, which would probably come in around about 101 area on the DXY. But as long as that we don't really drop below 101, um, yes, it's boring. Yes, it's slow. Some people may think it's a bit of a snail pace, but you only have to see kind of what happened over here in year 21. Went sideways for a bit and then it took off. That could be potentially what happens again if things get bearish in 2024. Now, haven't been wrong on every chart. We always say right on this, wrong on that. We like to talk about it here. We don't hide from anything. One chart that I think we know have absolutely nailed is oil. Very happy with the way that this one has gone. Not a lot of channels, I have to say, out there were bearish on oil. Lots of people saying oil was way going to be above three-figure oil. Again, I did think that oil was in the multi-year bear market. I did expect other assets to act just like this oil chart is, which haven't played out, but this one has played out. So yeah, we called this free wave correction into we were looking for about 93.5. It actually just got a little bit higher. It went into 94, but then strong sell-off since. This is a weekly chart. You can see all these, consecutive red weeks. I think we've been about 8 or 9 weeks now, red for oil. I'm kind of heading nicely towards my targets between about 43 and 57, somewhere in that range, kind of that 57 dollar area for oil is kind of my expectation. I still kind of think that we will see a low. Yes, we could just first of all revisit these lows down at 63, but I do think we are going to see a new bear market low for oil, and it'll probably come earlier on. Q1 next year, in my opinion. It may take to Q2. We may get a bounce now, kind of back up to this, $75, $77 range, and then drop again. Very possible. However long it takes to get there, I do think we are going to see sub $60 oil. You heard it here, in my opinion. Now, Tesla mentioned, those NASDAQ stocks, maybe why the NASDAQ slightly cooled off, why the Dow Jones has continued, and the NASDAQ, just cooling off a bit. Um, this is one that's still looking good to me. Still one that I'm confident, even if we don't get to these, bear market targets that I've got between around about 52 and 65 dollars on Tesla. I still do think that we are going to get a good chance to buy near $100. Obviously, around about we closed at $239 dollars today. Um, had the rally into the summer into $300. We're already significantly down. We're down 20% from there. So even just to get to where we are now, has shown that was clearly, as we said. We That was a rally. That was not a good time to buy. $300 was not a good price. If you wanted to get in now, you're getting in 20% cheaper. So you've still done better than that. But I still think we can, get lower. I'm still looking for a revisit, to this $165 range. See how it reacts there. But you can see now where that high was. We've kind of got this, descending resistance, and we may just go, up to tap that. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see, how the candles, the weekly candles, react to that. We've got, quite a few good, touches on this now, and I think it is going to, reject if it gets back up there. But even if this bear market low holds on Tesla, which was, it was around about $100, wasn't it? Yeah, 101. Still think, you've got a good chance of, getting in mid 100s. And then if you want to follow cost average, again, none of this is financial advice. If you're a looking to long term hold this stock and look to sell it for, new all-time highs in the future, whether that's $500, $600, maybe you think Tesla can get to $1,000 if you hold it for 10 years. You can look at the way some stocks have performed in the S&P 500, etc. over the last 10 years. It seems very, plausible and possible to expect that can happen. So I could definitely see that happening for Tesla. But what I'll say is that again, if you're getting in at 300 and you're looking for 600, you're looking at, just doubling your money. That's, high risk, reward a long time. You may have to be in negative equity, holding that if this stock drops. Whereas, if it gets down to say 150, you're then looking at, 4x. And even if it drops lower, you're kind of thinking, how much am I going to lose here? And can I continue to dollar cost average and reduce my position? So Tesla, it's good that it's dropped 20%. I still think it's got lower to go. Yeah, I don't think it's a buy here, in my opinion. I still think we can get down here. Now, tomorrow, probably going to do, a video talking about, crypto altcoins. I know you guys want me to, look at the likes of AVAX, Solana, ADA, a whole host of others. We'll take a look at a load of them tomorrow. Again, not I never class myself as a technical analyst, but I just make my best opinions that I can on any of those altcoins. If there's any altcoins that anyone wants to see, leave us comments below. And thank you all for tuning in. Catch you again.